In this video, we grow our understanding of experimental probability, which differs from theoretical probability. Although the probability of an event tells us how often an outcome should occur in theory, we rarely find this being exactly accurate in practice. That's why we have theoretical probability and experimental probability. Theoretical probability is a number between 0 and 1, usually expressed as a fraction, that indicates how likely an event would occur. Remember, we can describe probability in words, such as likely, unlikely, even chance, but remember in mathematics we use a number on a scale between 0 and 1, because 0 is the number that represents impossible chance, 1 is the number that represents certain chance. Experimental probability is also a number between 0 and 1, usually a fraction, but it shows how frequently an event actually occurred. It relies on data from repeated trials in an experiment. I'll show you an example of what I mean, but the best way to summarize experimental probability is to understand that it's about testing the theoretical probability. And in mathematics, we call that test an experiment. And when we conduct an experiment, we repeat trials to collect data. So here's that example. If I roll a typical 6-sided die, I know from theoretical probability that the probability of rolling a 3 is 1 on 6, because there is a 1 in 6 chance that the die will show 3. But when I conduct an experiment to collect data, and in fact I rolled the die 6 times, the experimental probability is 2 out of 6, and that's because experimental probability shows the number of times the event actually occurred out of how many trials were conducted. In this case, the 6 means 6 trials, not 6 possibilities. That fraction should be simplified to 1 on 3. We always give fractions in simplest form. So rereading the key idea, although the probability of an event tells us how often an outcome should occur in theory, that's theoretical probability on the left, we rarely find this being exactly accurate in practice. That's experimental probability shown on the right. So theoretical probability, it's a prediction. But experimental probability, although still a fraction, uses the experiment data to show how frequently an event actually occurred. That's why to show experimental probability of an event, you must first have a set of data. And the total number of trials is written as the denominator of the fraction.